Welcome back to Keys to the Hustle. Today's episode, we are sitting down with Corey Adamson from the agency. Obviously, if you've been keeping an eye on trends with the market and real estate and you're in the industry, you may have come across his videos already. He obviously keeps us well and truly up to date with his camera-facing content via TikTok and Instagram. If you don't know, he's also a married father. He's also a heavily involved community member, having been an ex-athlete. He's done baseball, he's done AFL, he is now in real estate. So I'm going to ask him some questions that I think we all want to ask him, hopefully some new ones too. Enjoy. Hey, Corey.
Hello.
So nice to meet you, and thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I really value and appreciate your time.
Of course, I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, beautiful. Well, I guess I'll jump straight into it. A lot of people I don't think know that you were a Major League Baseball player and then you transitioned to AFL and then to real estate. What was kind of the connectors for all of those to lead you here?
So, to clarify, because I don't want to talk out, I was a minor league baseball player. I was signed by a major league team, but unfortunately didn't get to the major leagues. But no, there's really no connection. So I played professional baseball for 6 or 7 years, starting when I was 16 years old. And then when I was over there, the AFL introduced something called a Category B rookie. So essentially I could come back, sit outside the salary cap and have an opportunity. So I was with West Coast for a couple of years. And then really the real estate thing, probably like most agents, it was out of necessity. So I got delisted. I was obviously uneducated because I was a professional athlete my whole life. So then I was, doing odd jobs, just worked at a labor hire company. And then I actually joined as a personal trainer at a gym in Myrie, funny enough, and I loved it. Tracy, the owner of that, she gave me my first opportunity. Since then, she's bought and sold through me. I've sold for her son. I've helped their fit. Like, she's just a lovely person. Beautiful. But it was purely, I applied on Seek when I was out delivering chips to Red Rooster for them to cook. That was the thing. So there was no direct link. But then since being in real estate, I have tried to, I guess, not waste those past careers. So try and bring something over from there, mainly with networks, the whole, work ethic, all of that stuff from an athlete, but the networks that that I've been able to create through sport is something that, I can't replace that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Thanks for that. I resonate with a lot of that information because I think being someone's family real estate agent is probably the coolest thing you can be in this industry. So doing it for mum and dad and then selling for the kids. So
I think that's the biggest thing. And, my business partner, Paul Tonich, that's been his philosophy. So we've never just done a suburb. It's just about being the agent. And you'd know it as well. The referrals, once you start getting that, and you're not appraising a property. So with Tracy's son, my old boss's son, it's, oh, Corey, can you go sell Ben's house? Yeah, great, no worries. We'll do that. And you're obviously going to, pay the respect, do the appraisal, everything like that. But you're going in there pretty much knowing that it's yours, so you can feel more comfortable anyway.
So much more enjoyable too.
100%.
The whole thing, I think my goal is moving forward is making my job enjoyable.
Yeah.
Currently I'm there, thankfully.
Yeah.
I think around last year I had some interesting clients, but it's just kind of distinguishing what is your problem and stress about things you can control.
For sure.
So I agree with that heavily. So if you were in baseball and then you were in AFL and now you're in real estate, what does winning look like to you now?
Obviously different times, different seasons. Back then it was purely about, winning, being the number one. That is something since joining real estate. When I first started, it was all about, I want to be number one. Couldn't care less now. Yeah. I actually think this industry would be better without the awards. I think it's the worst part of the industry. And to answer your question, sustainability is winning for me. So being able to be a great real estate agent, yes, earn a lot of money doing it, but also, like we spoke about before, I did the school drop with my daughter this morning. I'm, my son's football coach, both kids' T-ball coaches get to go watch Aubrey do gymnastics on Thursday and just...
Yeah, that's winning to me, yeah.
Exactly. Being able to do that and, still be around my kids, still do everything, give them the opportunities, but I couldn't care less if that meant I was number one on the REWA list or number 57.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, I think REWA just leans into, or any award ceremony just leans into the competitiveness that majority of the industry
100%.
has a strong streak in.
Yeah.
I mean, I sure am competitive, but I was speaking to someone else regards, I think you can be competitive in a positive light.
For sure.
And you can always have healthy competition. And do you see a lot of that? At your level of real estate, I just feel like you're so seasoned and
So I did probably at a previous company when we were part of the big company, but Paul and I, we've got a little office about the size of this room, little office, and it's pretty much just our team in it. So myself and Paul, and then we've got Jack and Grace who work with us as well. Then we do have a few other agents, but it's not everyone come in, sit down, go over your stats, your KPIs and stuff. It's quite literally, you want to be a real estate, or most people that come are agents.
Yeah.
They just want something different. So they don't want to compete with each other, but we do have a big emphasis on, how are you going to get better in your everyday? So whether that's somebody that's come over and, wrote $550,000, they want to go to $1 million, or they just want to write $550,000 better than they did before. So I still think you've got to have that competitive nature. I think that comes more into play once you've got the listing. And that's probably the thing that I think a lot of agents miss. It's like, I want to be number one. So just do it better for your owner, because then you can become the family agent. You get a great result for one person in a family. It can lead to more business than any door knocking can do.
Yeah, I mean, I've only had really a light taste of repeat business from the same family. I've done it for 3 of their properties, so same family, and each one is just so much more comfortable than the last, because you know who you're talking to, you know your vendor, and you can just confidently act on their behalf and lead them to the success that we know they deserve. So
100%.
I think it's all very important characteristics you need to have in this industry. Couldn't agree with you more.
And it stops you from getting complacent. At least I think if you've done a great job for somebody, you don't want to do any less than that, whether it's for them again or their cousin, brother, sister. It keeps you up at that level.
Beautiful. I couldn't agree more. Do you think ambition can ever be unhealthy?
I don't think ambition can be unhealthy, but once again, I think the way you go about it. So if you're so obsessed with, once again, I'm going to say becoming number one or whatever it is, competing against someone, if you are doing
which is such a common goal in our industry.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's when I think it can just get skewed. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it as well. Some of these awards that go out, you see somebody win the award for unassisted, but you go through a home open of theirs and they've got 3 assistants there. So it's like, that becomes unhealthy, I think. But ambition in itself, in wanting to do better, wanting to do a good job, I don't think that's unhealthy. And I think it's needed.
Yeah.
I think if I was in this industry and the ambition was gone and I was just doing it to tick a box, I think that's the time to probably get a new job.
I find, and I'm probably assuming here, but do you find it hard to delegate parts of your job to assistants?
I did.
I'm struggling with it at the moment. So
it's one of those things, probably like you, like any other agent that's even considering an assistant right now, you have to get to a point where they're 80% or 80% of what you think is good enough, because they're not going to do it as good as you until they can. And then they're probably going to want to be their own agent. Yeah. But you just have to do it. And I think for me, I obviously leaned on Paul a lot for this. He's always had assistants. I've had assistants since the day I, started becoming a sales agent. And once you start figuring out, okay, if an assistant can do this at 80%, then you can still cover that ground. You can talk to your vendors more and you can have your family time back again. So it's hard to do. But also, it makes you be accountable for how you're going to train them. If you're not giving them the right training, then they can't do what you want for them.
Yeah. Okay, well, pressure's on. Thanks for that then.
Just hire one.
Then you still got to train. Okay. Yeah. I'm just terrible at delegating at the moment, but it's just a new found world.
And that's the thing. Once it happens and you go, okay,
this is nice.
That worked. And then it's not about you doing less, right? It's about you doing more. And that's what we tell all because we've got agents considering getting an assistant. If you're hiring an assistant, you're going to pay him $100,000. That's not so you can make $100,000 back.
Yeah.
You want to make 200. off of that.
You want to double your...
Exactly right.
Okay, well, thank you. I needed that. Cool. That was actually not written down. So I guess I know we're quite competitive in our industry, but do you think Perth has a tall poppy syndrome?
For sure. I think Australia in general has a tall poppy syndrome.
New Zealand does too. So.
And it's probably something I've seen from living in America, and the guys like that I played baseball with over there, they really celebrated other people's successes. And, you know, even myself coming back and being in real estate the first couple of years, I had it as well. I feel like you're taught it in real estate. Somebody's doing well. You've got to. You're taught to. Well, they're only doing it for 1%. You got no idea what they're doing it for. And I think it's across Australia in general, but in real estate, I think it's just amplified on there. And that's probably going back to the unhealthy ambition, because that's not ambitious. That's just trying to, you know, discredit someone else. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I'm glad I'm not hallucinating. Thanks for that reassurance. So what would you say is your most underrated success habit?
That's a good question. I would think constant motivation as a self-starter. I think, you know, at whatever level, you know, I'm fortunate enough that my, say, success in real estate has been quite linear from the start, and obviously helped by good markets. I'm not too precious to say that.
You know, you did it before it was a boom, so.
Exactly right. But I think just being able to go in each day with that type of motivation. I think this industry, it's easy to get complacent. I'm sure you've seen it in your office or surrounds, how many people get burnt out as well. And I actually, if you do it, back to the sustainability, if you do it well and you enjoy it and you do hire an assistant, you should never burn out from it. Like it's once again, I look at Paul, he's been doing this for 30 years. You don't do something for 30 years with that type of energy, you know, without having good structures and systems behind you.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. And I guess, you know, Rome wasn't built overnight, but I think that's valuable. I guess at the moment, the market's being weird. We've got a lot of stock happening. What would your biggest piece of advice be to maybe an agent who hasn't experienced such a high stock market?
Have hard conversations from the start. I think I was actually expressing this to Grace, who works with me. And this is going to sound negative, I don't mean it in that way, I'm so excited for this market to be the second agent, because I just know so many agents who have come in, or at least forgotten how to have these hard conversations. And it is.
Complacency.
How many, probably not how many, don't put a number on it, but we've had properties, brand new properties launched to market, and one person's walked through the door on a Saturday open. So you've got to be able to deliver that news to your owner. You can't lie to them. And just structure it around that. So even beforehand, you know, we're trying to set their expectations. We're not bringing them down, because we want great prices still. And I still think people are getting brilliant prices. But knowing that, you know, if we get 10 groups through, that's good. It's not going to be 40. If we have to work, I sold one in Scarborough last night. We got 3 brilliant offers on it, cash offers above, you know, where we wanted to go. But getting those offers was like pulling teeth. You know, you really had to work. And that's why I'm excited to go back to that kind of old school real estate part of things. So for people that haven't been through that, you've got to be honest. It's not the time to lie, because you'll get caught out, and have the hard conversations. Give the feedback as well. I think we've been so lucky in the market that we've had, where even if 10 people have said, nah, the property's horrible, one person was going to make an offer on it. So now your owners, like, they deserve to know what people are saying. Go back to doing vendor reports, go back to doing Monday meetings, and just do old school real estate for a bit. Yeah,
go take it back old school, but just informative too. And I guess as a person in general, I've always believed that confrontation doesn't need to be negative.
For sure.
So yeah, okay, have those hard conversations. I like that. A lot of people at the moment in Perth really want success, especially online, but they don't want the visibility.
Yep.
You leaned hard into social media early. Why?
Probably for the reason that I had to do something, I think. And once again, Paul was a pioneer through that Facebook era, and he said, you know, get something that's yours. So it obviously started with Instagram, and that went quite well for a bit, and then died off when I shifted over to TikTok. Now I'm trying to do all of it.
Yeah.
But I just figured instead of going out and doing a suburb where you have to have a certain amount of signboards, letterbox drops, door knocks, it's like, well, why can't I just do everywhere?
Yeah.
And to be fair, the Instagram thing that at the start was pretty pictures of houses, which had decent traction.
Yep.
TikTok just started, and probably just out of luck, I put up a running video during COVID and got 300,000 views. So then I was like, oh, there you go. So then I started putting up some real estate content, and it's shifted from, eye-catching type of stuff to people writing comments, and now I can just respond to those. And I think it's put me more in a position of like authority where people actually trust my opinion about things.
Oh, definitely. Even I trust your opinion on things.
Thank you.
And I think I only really found you maybe at the beginning of last year. I can't actually remember, but I've been following you for a while and big fan.
Yeah,
big
thank
fan
you.
of your
Appreciate
stuff.
it.
And my colleague is too, Tyler. She told me to say hello.
Thank you.
Hey.
Appreciate it. I followed you first, actually.
Oh,
Did you know that? When you got your
Did we get that recorded? Thanks, Luca.
when you got your bicycle present from a client.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's when I saw that. And that was a video that I loved. Once again, not real estate. Like, yes, it was because you did a good job for them, but to see somebody, yourself get a gift from a client, that means you made an impact on them.
And like a stunning video recorded review. Yeah. I couldn't have scripted that better. It just came from her heart, and she started crying.
Brilliant.
I was like, piece of resistance. Yeah. But also I love this. Thank you for connecting with me.
100%.
But thanks. That means a lot to me. I think a lot of agents saw that video too, and they were like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
She's connecting.
I love it. And I still think there's huge room for agents to do social media differently. I think, yes, the highly produced videos are great and there's a place for them, but on a social aspect, like, be yourself. People want to see who you are.
Sometimes in our industry themselves suck.
Yeah, that's very true. That's across all industries though.
Yeah, all industries. You get good people and bad people everywhere, I reckon. Do you think people underestimate how psychologically hard it is to reinvent yourself like you did through baseball to AFL to real estate?
For sure. I think people do. I think your inner circle, probably out of love, don't want you to do it as much as well. And I think, taking a risk at any point, whether it's going from a sport to real estate or real estate to something corporate, whatever it may be, your inner circle, yes, they want you to succeed, but they've probably also can see, you've got bills or a mortgage, and do you really want to do this? So I think it's all of that. You've got to be careful. I'm really a fan, like, be careful who you tell things to. And, with everything. I actually say this about houses as well. You see, and I find, especially the last few years, where people have been able to put themselves in such a good position through the house that they've purchased. How many times have you seen a young couple or a young mum come through a property and absolutely love it, want to buy it, and then they bring their dad through, and once again, out of love, rips this place to shreds. Yep. She gets scared, doesn't buy it, and it's probably cost them $400,000 in the last couple of years.
Yeah. And they've missed out because of that very strong opinion that just wasn't aligned with the current market, I think. I've literally had 3 examples of that. And you ask the dad, he's not doing that because he doesn't want his daughter or the kids to succeed. They're doing it out of love, but it's just, you've got to be so careful on whose opinions you take on. And they literally also think it's going to shave $50,000 off the asking price. It's just not going to.
No, not at all. Not at all.
What would 18-year-old Corey think of you today?
We're pretty upset that we're not playing Major League Baseball and that my old roommate just signed a $280 million contract. So that hurts. But in a more holistic and general sense, I think an 18-year-old Corey will be very proud. My wife and I, Megan, we just celebrated. It was a very little celebration, but we've been together for 17 years as of 2 days ago. So
congratulations.
Thank you. So to see that, continue on, we're about to embark on a big renovation of, what we're calling our forever home, but you and I both know that never actually happens, but we'll see. And
you can play yourself as long as you want, Corey.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. We'll do that. Just makes it easier to spend the money that I don't have on it.
Correct.
And just the 2 kids, I think because Megs and I have been together since we were 16. Kids were always going to be in the future.
Yeah.
And then to have those, and believe me, parenting, I mean, you've got one more than me, so
Yeah.
parenting's not easy. You've got your big glimmers and everything, but the fact that we're navigating through that, and the kids are beautiful, and just learning about them. I think an 18-year-old Corey would be very proud.
Oh, I think so too, and he should be. I love that you guys had your first kid at 16. Is that what you said?
No, we've been together since we were 16. We had our first
that.
kid a decade later, 26, 27.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband and I have been together for 11 years, married for 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have the 3. We went hard. I don't want to say hard and fast. That doesn't feel like the right fit. But yeah, we did life a little bit backwards.
Yeah.
But I do think the core values of being a mother and a parent really helped me shift into real estate
For sure.
nicely. I mean, I was very patient by default thanks to that, and I could run off 4 hours sleep very well.
Yeah.
And get kids to school and get them to their extracurriculars. My oldest is now doing MMA at Scrappy Fitness, and Jack Della Mandolina. He's from that gym and is there often. So I hope he comes on the pod next.
Yeah.
I'll tag him in this. But yeah, I think it's beautiful that you've been together for 17 years. That's a really big feat to me.
It is. I think with the kids thing, because I know, or say the people that listen to this, I assume it's going to be some younger agents and probably going through that. Like you said, with the lack of sleep, and believe me, we had lack of sleep, but it does get easier. You know, my kids are 6 and 4 now, and we're sleeping through the night, and it's like I've found another level of what I can do. Aubrey's she's just started kindy, so she's still only 5-day fortnight, but once she's in school full-time next year, and Austin's in school full-time as well, you got a whole week to yourself.
It's like a whole new playground.
It is.
So I'm really glad because my oldest is in year 5, and then my middle is in year 3, and then my son's in pre-primary, so he's just gone full-time. Yeah. And the time is crazy.
It is.
And then you meet people who don't have kids, and I love them. I love my friends without kids. But it's just easy to give up sometimes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think in saying that, and I never give her enough credit, but so Megan, she stays at home with the kids. She's
Shout
not.
out, Megan.
Big shout. She's not working, but in doing that, once again in real estate, how many nights and weekends do we have to do it? So I'm not, she's not there on holiday, not working. She has to do the hard stuff. So that's something as well. Pick your partner.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was an interesting transition because my husband's always been working full-time, but we run our own roof tiling business, so we're very in touch with the construction industry and tradies. Our business is 6 years old now, and he just works for us full-time, but because we're at that part in business where he can start working less, but he's charging the correct amount to be able to work less.
For sure.
He takes over the day, I'll come in at night, and we'll try and bounce back and forth, but choosing the right partner is hard, crazy.
For sure.
And yeah, if you get one, you're lucky.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Well, I think personally, I feel like you talk about mental health in quite a deep level. Speaking to some of the videos I've seen before. I guess if someone in Perth is listening and finding or feeling like they're falling behind, what would you tell them?
It's so hard, and it is something that I speak quite passionately about. We lost an agent due to mental health struggles, and it's rocked, everything from there. And a lot of that, I genuinely believe, is due to what we spoke about before, and the wrong type of competition. Is a beautiful man. He just couldn't quite separate himself from what other people, and believe me, I'm not trying to talk on his experience. I'm sure there was lots of other things, but from what I saw, it was always a competition between other agents through there, which I'm sure played a part of it. So, between that and then other guys that I've played footy with, we've lost a few guys there as well. So I just think, and it's so hard, but talk to your mates, and that's probably something that I've tried to, I guess, build on lately, and
implement more. And
for sure. But being a blokey sports guy, we're always too cool for that. But now, whenever I talk to my friends, and I've got a really good friend, Adam Milson, our conversations have gone from just the funny joking around stuff to actually asking, like, how's it going? How's your family going? And being some type of a soundboard from that. we just had our end of season baseball trip where we went down to Dunsborough, and that was, myself and Adam were the youngest on the team, but just seeing all of those older guys that have been mates for so many years. And I think men's mental health right now, it's out there, it's in the open, and it's something that people are like, they're on board with.
Yeah.
So just do it,
Yeah, just open up. Just have a chat.
100%. Your mates are there. They're probably going through stuff as well.
Yeah, correct. And I didn't know the tie was to an agent, and my condolences. That must have been tough on all fronts.
Yeah, horrible. And just that's the other thing. Not that anyone with mental health problems listening to this needs to hear it, but the wake you leave behind as well, like with the families and everything. It's just horrible.
I like to call it a gaping hole, because that's what it is.
100% in the biggest way possible.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's beautiful that you're spreading that, because I think more men need to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Greg Heyer, basketball player from WA, he has his foundation as well, and he does incredible things. So if anybody needs to look at that, just have a look at Greg Heyer and what he's doing, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, and pardon to beat a dead horse, but the competition is real. And I guess if you're even getting like a 1-star review, that can knock your whole ego about, let alone sense of self. I
think as well, especially for agents, but I'm sure it goes across all businesses. Like and the market that we've been in, where there's been so many, say, buyers miss out and offers and stuff. We're working for the owner. But I do feel for the buyers that have missed. But there's got to be some point where you have to cut it off, right? Yeah. You can't sell it to everyone. And, being we do wear the brunt of it for a buyer that's missed out. And then once it's gone, obviously, everyone always seems to find 50 grand more that they were going to pay for the property. So they get upset about it. But all of that, it's a lot to take on. And I think that's probably something over my 8 years, not taking on the mental load from clients has been so big. We sell for a lot of estates and a lot of divorces, and
2 of the 3 Ds.
Yeah, exactly. And, we really feel for the clients, but there came a point in my career where I just couldn't take that home. Otherwise, I would have ended up, separated from Megs, because I was so anxious about how I can essentially save these people's marriage and do that, where they've hired you as a professional. Now, whenever we do, especially divorce sales, it is very straight up and down. Here are the facts. We put everyone in the WhatsApp group together, deliver good reports. So then there's no, phone calls that are getting misconstrued, and you end up becoming the person in the middle trying to do the right thing, and you're the bad guy at the end. Yeah,
especially with the divorce ones, you've got to be really, really communicative during those ones.
Like more than what you would think, and put it in writing as well.
Oh, for sure. And then deaths, I guess it just depends on who else is involved. If you've got a 4-way split, you've got lots of opinions there already.
For sure.
Oh, gosh. Have you seen many developments coming up, I guess?
We get a few. We get some sites. We've actually, myself and Sam English are working on 2 developments right now.
I think Sam and I share a videographer. I've seen him online.
Yeah,
he's cool.
Yeah, you would. I've used him too.
Kieran.
Yeah,
I love Kieran.
Asset agency. Shout out
Kieran.
Yeah, we do get a few developments. What I've found is developers are wanting pre-sales right now. People want houses, so that's a bit of a discrepancy. They're not going to wait forever. And just the cost of construction. We've had a lot of developers with these blocks and plans ready to develop, and then have just held off or ended up selling the entire site. So I think it's a bit of a tough market. I'm interested to see, from the budget being that you can negatively gear the new products. I'm interested to see how that's going to play out, and if that's going to increase a bit of demand.
Well, all of it. And I think everyone's waiting to see if the government's going to step to their promises, I guess, with the housing, and promising to build 30,000 in a decade's interesting.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot.
That's still not enough.
And there's not. And like with everything, I mean, you go on TikTok now, everyone's talking about how they can use a loophole, how they can do the
how to avoid ATO.
We'll see. We obviously need more houses, but I just don't think there's a concrete way to build more houses right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. So teams, obviously I've got I think, a team of 8
Yep.
altogether. And then we are slowly growing. We've just hired a sales admin, and there are only 3 sales agents at Centurion. So myself, Ellie Hill, and Tyler.
Yep.
And I do think we're obviously planning to grow. But what is important in a team structure to you, and what does your team do that I could steal from?
For sure. So when you say team of 8, that's the office.
Yep.
Then the 3 sales agents.
Yep.
So I think you should become a team. That is what I think going forward. The teams and the call them super teams, I think that's who's going to dominate the industry right now. So the way that we do it in our office, myself and Paul, we own the office, but we are, a team within ourselves. So I actually started as Paul's assistant, then got up to a sales agent, then became a business partner. Then from that, we have 2, I don't like to call them assistants, but for lack of a better word, assistant being Jack and Grace.
Yep.
And essentially they handle everything. A cadet would be a better name for them. So they do opens, they come to appraisals. I'm really on them about, creating their own socials, creating their own presence as well. And they do the back end side of things. So callbacks, they help me with vendor reports, booking in inspections, all of the things that somebody like yourself, you don't want to spend your time doing that because you need to be doing other things from it. But in saying that, our whole goal is to get Jack and Grace to a point where they've had that much exposure through our listings that then they're meeting buyers. Anyone that they call back, they're trying to get appraisals from that.
Yep.
And I want them to both build up to get to the point that I got to where they say, okay, I'm essentially too good for your position. What's next? And they can either then go out on their own as a sales agent in our office or somewhere else, wherever they think they're going to have success, or stay in the team and then we hire an assistant to go under them as well. And I think being able to cover, we sell properties from Les Murdy to Denmark, Mount Lord, like we're all over the shop. And the way that we can do that is by having the team from there. Because say you as a single agent, what could you get to on a weekend? 7 opens?
At the most, and give proper quality.
That's what I mean. You don't want to half-ass it.
No.
But if you could have that. So I still work nights, weekends, but it's just being able to, okay, if we wanted to do a longer one, I could be there for the first 45. Jack could come in and finish it up. Or it allows us to go, all right, we're going to have an open for every property every single night of the week, plus the weekends, and the owners don't get any less feedback from that. So I think being in teams and being able to support each other, it's the way to grow. I think more agents should do it. Like we alluded to before when I told you just to hire an assistant. I don't think anyone should do real estate without an assistant. One, you've got to pay them. So say if they're on 90 grand, it's going to force you to make 180 grand to cover their costs.
If you still want your kids to eat.
Exactly right. Is one thing, we've spoken about Centurions. I will plug the agency. Yep. One thing the agency do very well is we also have head office support. So all of our contracts go through Andrea as our support partner, and she is absolutely brilliant. Right. So that's just another thing that we don't have to handle, but it's another teammate through there. Okay. So, keep building the team bigger, sustainably once again. Doesn't matter what GC, I think we'll write about 3 million this year, and we've been able to scale that relatively quickly. And I think adding another person, if we put on another assistant, it wouldn't be to get to 3.1, it would be to get to 3.5, if that's what we all work towards.
Right. And I guess on the back end of that, what does a bad apple look like in a team?
So, I mean, and it doesn't even have to be that they're a bad person. Sometimes it's just not a fit. Before getting to Jack and Grace, Paul and I had 13 assistants.
Gosh.
That didn't work out.
Yeah. They
didn't work out, but they're good at their jobs, if that makes sense. So, we've had multiple people. Luke Martin, very good agent. He just won the top agent at Agents Agency. He was one of our assistants, but he just didn't work out because probably he was, not right for that position because he wanted to go and be a top agent.
He was a lot hungrier than that position.
That's it. And he's killing it now. I think he's the number one agent in Edgewater, and, so happy for him to have that success. And that's been a lot of our ex-PAs who have gone on to be agents because they do learn something. It didn't fit right for our team. But I think if there was a bad apple, it'd just be somebody that can't buy into the team. They're there for the wrong reasons. Yes, they want to be successful. We want everyone to be successful. But if that is coming at a cost to the team, it's just not gonna work.
Right.
Go do it by yourself.
Yeah, self-motivated to detriment of the team.
Yeah, see that's where it's hard because I'm sure you may have seen on TikTok, like I make sure Grace posts her things on social media.
Someone's got to hold you accountable with socials.
Yeah,
Someone has to.
I make sure Jack posts. It's not, we don't want assistants, and I've seen it so much in this industry where you want them good enough to be a good assistant, but you never want them to leave.
Yeah.
And I think that's an easy way out. Like I want these guys to build their profile, like what Paul did with me, to the point where, I was getting, like I'm sure most good agents, like you poached by other companies. I think that's the best compliment that you can have because it shows that, you're doing something. You're doing something right. And whether you stay or go, that's up to, I guess, your team environment. And Paul's always said it to me. He goes, mate, if anyone, before we're business partners, if anyone wants to talk, go have a coffee with them. If they can offer you something that you think is going to be better for you, go ahead and take it. And I've got that same, I guess, respect and opportunity for Jack and Grace too. If somebody was going to come in and they really think, that this is going to be a better fit for them, go ahead.
And that
we've played our part.
That would obviously play to your contribution as well. So
for sure.
You've obviously trained them well enough to be spotted by another business
100%.
to then be poached. I think that's complimentary.
100%. And I really want that. Like they're both 24, maybe 25. Yeah. But like I want them to have very successful, high-earning careers as well.
And I do think a lot of the new agents are around that age bracket. Yeah. And I guess how long would you, I know it's like asking how long a piece of string is, but how long would you recommend being a cadet and learning the ropes before actually...
So I spoke a lot about this, a lot to my dad as well, but any other job where you can have the capability to earn this type of money, you're at least 4 years in university, then probably more, right? So I think if you're doing it right, like give yourself time. I gave myself 4 years to figure out if this was going to work or not.
Yeah.
And
that's a good timeline, I think.
I think so. Otherwise, like how do you learn? Yes, do you know what? I could have gone out on my own beforehand and probably been decent or quite, but the amount of stuff that I've learnt through Paul and through our partnership, just about that sustainability side and how to do business the right way, and even, breaking it down more about tax management and things that you don't think about when you go, I want to list and sell real estate. And that's been pivotal. And I think we have an opportunity in this career. You could look at some of these, you could work to you're 100, so doing it right and setting yourself up right. I think it's the best thing. So what's 4 years if you're having a 40-year career?
Correct. And I think that's just a good timeline to assess if you're actually going to be good at it, because just the timing of the market and things, you could have a really killer first year and then drop off the next.
One of the things I'm so grateful for is starting in 2017 when the market was horrible.
Yeah.
Being able to deliver, once again, like that bad news. I remember we had one in Mount Hawthorn, beautiful place. They got it all painted, staged, got the floors done. First weekend, no one walked through. And it's like, well, go deliver that news to your vendor. It's like, how do you go about that? And I think that's been one of the biggest learnings for me. And once again, I feel sorry for the people who have just had a good market to work in.
Yeah, because I don't think they're going to know what to do.
Definitely not. And that's once again going back to a team.
Yeah.
If you are a newer agent and you've gone, holy shit, we've had a grand opening, no one's walked through, when you can go talk to the people in your team that have done it 4,000 times, and goes, yeah, this is your dialogue.
Yeah.
100%.
You just got to jump straight into it. You're like, look, here's the bad news.
Yeah, for sure.
And then sprinkle the good news at the end.
Answer the phone. I remember that when I started, you'd get a tough vendor and their phone would pop up and you'd go, I'll answer that later. And you sit there, you'd think about it until 4 o'clock. You've still got to make the call.
Procrastination at its finest. That was, I think, also during my hiatus. I was really struggling with that, just leading to Christmas, because everyone needs to talk to you leading to Christmas.
100%.
But you're obligated to do a good job for your clients. And I'm really glad you said that.
Yeah, I think, and that was, I remember I drew a line in the sand. I was like, okay, when my phone rings, I answer it. And that was it. Obviously, things change as well. Now that I've got the kids there, if I'm doing bath time at 6 o'clock, I'm not answering the phone.
Yeah.
But during work hours, and then I'll always return the call later on. But once again, that's figuring out how you can run your business.
Yes, and I guess if you've communicated well and done the right thing to explain yourself and as a person to your vendors, then they're going to know you're doing bath time and that you'll call back after.
For sure.
So.
Or it gets forwarded on to Jack or Grace.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Nice. And kidless, childless?
Yeah, they both are.
Nice.
As far as I'm aware.
So you can so get an assistant without children.
100%. 100%.
I need children time, not you.
Ready to grind.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks, Corey. I found that very valuable, just the entire session. All right. Well, thank you so much, Corey. Could you please do us a favour and sign us out?
I will. So thank you so much. Corey Adamson from the agency here. If you are watching this before the 1st of October 2026, Paul and I are giving one lucky person $30,000 to help out with your mortgage. So jump on the socials, just type in Corey Adamson. You'll find the link there. Have a crack at it. We're going to be giving that to one person. So thank you so much for having me, Patti. Really appreciate it.
You're a legend.